Greetings! A few months ago, I had a very long talk with a couple of very cool guys. They were working on an EP and were interested in Dolby Atmos but didn't quite know how to go about it. This would have been their first recording effort as a band, and they were so excited to get going. So after a few listening sessions at the studio where we went through an Atmos project, which we'll look together later in the video, a few cups of coffee, and some long phone calls, we finally had a game plan on how to go about the production. Not everything was rosy, there were a few challenges, but we did have a plan. So where did we start? We went over what Atmos is and how it creates this whole new world of creative possibilities for music. Simply put, mono, stereo, Atmos. We discussed the concept of object-based audio, where you can practically place instruments, vocals, effects anywhere in that 3D space without being limited by the number of playback devices, speakers in this case. We discussed the main differences between stereo and 5.1 surround and Atmos. Lots of people confused about that one. Let's try to clear that up. In stereo and 5.1 surround, whatever is placed by the mix engineer at that position comes out of that particular speaker. Let's pick an acoustic guitar track, for example. Mix engineer places that hard left. Sound comes out of the left speaker. If left speaker broken, no sound. No acoustic guitar. Get it? Same holds true for 5.1. Say we now have two acoustic guitars, panned hard, one at surround left, the other at surround right. So your significant other at home, where you have your home system, did not want the two surround speakers to be behind the couch. Bye-bye acoustic guitars. But Atmos? Oh, Atmos. The algo knows exactly what you have where, and in real time serves you a version that fits your playback situation. So those two acoustic guitars in our 5.1-2 playback system will be folded into the LCR, left, center, right. And it will be manipulated in such a way so to say they would feel like they're coming from the back. In your original placement, the mixer's original placement. Never mind the receivers, your phones, sound bars, smart speakers, all of them figuring out your space, adjusting your space. It's just genius. Anyways, so then we listened to a whole bunch of songs in different genres on Apple Music. I'll put a card up here of some of those so you can check them out. We carefully examined each instrument and vocal placement, all the movements, and the overall atmosphere, and took tons of notes. So now that the tech was out of the way, we were ready to really start. And it all starts with the song. The song Small Things was written about being frustrated by all those little things in a relationship, be it with your family, friends, loved ones that just drive you crazy. Bringing those front of mind and facing them is a noble cause, if you ask me. The sound of the band, which is a duo by the way, the vocalist plays the drums and keys in some songs, and the guitarist also plays the bass. The sound is raw and aggressive with powerful, full of angst vocals, wall of sound, screeching guitars, and uncontrollable pounding on the skins. The guys put the finishing touches on the song's main structure, did some final lyrics editing, and started the recording, most of which happened in their own home studio, with vocals, percussion, and some extras happening at the studio here at a later date. Pre-pro meeting time. The first thing to decide was whether we'd use immersive recording to capture instruments in the 3D space at the studio, or use standard recording techniques and create the space during the mix. Since the tracks would be recorded mainly at their home studio where we could not set up an immersive recording rig, we decided to go traditional and Atmosize later. The main goal and the number one thing for me when putting together tracks for an Atmos release is just a single word: more. Just record more. You might use it, you might not, but have it. Put it in the bag. Think of it this way. In stereo, you get to stack things. In Atmos, you get to spread and stack and spread and stack and spread and stack some more. And the more naturally decorrelated, meaning different all around, not the same sounds or same takes, the better. In this case, it was more guitars, more synths, and of course, more vocals. Lots more. The guys went trigger happy, and adding to those what we recorded at the studio, the project ended up with over 180 tracks. Ha! Oh well. I guess you get what you ask for. The possibilities are endless. Now, remember when I said that we had some challenges? Let's look at a couple of those, but before we do, let me just briefly explain why these were an issue in the first place. To make it real simple, when you place audio in a 3D space, things change. For example, stuff at the back sounds darker and further away. These challenges are true when the playback system has speakers at the back. But what about when you are listening to Atmos content on your headphones? Things get a bit more complicated because the algorithm now has to figure out how to essentially trick your brain into thinking that the audio is coming, in this example, from the back. Lots of audio waveforms get manipulated, get added together, folded down, as we say. So how something sounds when you listen to it through multiple speakers at the studio, at a home system, in an Atmos-enabled car system, is not the same as when you listen to the same Atmos track in headphones. Not the same experience. Around 50%, as many fellow Atmos mixers say, but certainly an enhanced experience over stereo. Steven Wilson was talking about this in a recent interview. But let's hear some examples, and I'll do my best to show you those differences. Remember that you are listening to this on YouTube, and this is binaural audio, meaning you should have your headphones on. It will not work otherwise. Let's listen to this vocal ad-lib placement.
I'm afraid that we're in this dance. You better dance, man. Hey! I'm afraid that we're in this dance. You better dance, man. Hey! I'm afraid that we're in this dance. You better dance, man. Hey!
See how it sounds louder when placed in the back in the stereo fold down? So how do we solve this? Just by lowering the volume in the Atmos so it does not poke in the stereo. Very simple. Now, let's listen to the shakers.
Who cares whatever you do if it's the small things that get to you?
See how the shakers sound louder in the stereo fold down? How do we solve this? We have to compromise a bit more, basically, lowering them a lot in the Atmos mix so they don't poke in the stereo.
Who cares whatever you do if it's the small things that get to you? Who cares whatever you do if it's the small things that get to you?
Now, if you want to start experimenting with Atmos yourself, check out this video for some quick tips. Till next time.